Hi everyone, welcome once again to Monday's Let's Talk with Salman Purity here at Diguna_Youth_Ministry on Instagram, but not on live. Diguna Youth Ministry on YouTube and Facebook pages. We are happy and excited to have you once again. And as usual, my co-host is
the one and only Samuel Wate. I am born again and I'm excited this evening. I don't know why I feel like I should just smile and smile tonight, but I don't know. I've been dancing all day. It's been a good day.
like you're having your moment when it's rainy and not sunny.
Probably I think I love rain. Actually, I love rain.
You love rain?
Yes. For me, rain is movie night. Mm-hmm. Rain is chai night.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, if there's something beautiful about the cold, have you ever eaten very hot chapati with very hot tea? That's the best for me. For rainy season, for cold moments. That's why I love the rain.
Mm-hmm. Mm. So for Sammy, rain is chai. Rain is, what did you say?
Hot chapati.
Hot chapati. And rain is movie night. So that means anytime he's having a movie at night, it's rain.
You see, picture this. It's raining and you're seated inside your duvet. Mm-hmm. You're relaxing and Netflix and chill, man.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, I also like rain. I like it actually when it's heavy. You know, like the way we were on our way back from errands at work. Mm-hmm. And it was raining heavily. For me, it's a moment where my thoughts, I don't know, it just does something with my mind. Like thoughts flow. Thoughts like zina kujanga for real, like they're just so many thoughts that flow in my mind. Sometimes they're not the best of thoughts. And sometimes they're not the best of options, but I like rain because it helps me think. It helps me think through situations, emotions, books, assignments, plans, and all that. There's just something with rain for me. Like I function better when it's rainy or when it's chilled.
Sorry guys, we're talking about rain here because it's been raining here in Rongai. I don't know if at your place it's raining, please, like you can put your hand up like, hey, we also love rain here. It's also raining, like, hey, it's being sunny here. I don't know for people out because we are international. I don't know if it's still snowing in Germany. I'm not sure. You can tell us. You can share that with us. Is it still snowing? Is it sunny now? Because actually, you know what? People from Germany, they tell me sometimes. I have friends from Germany, very close friends. And they tell me sometimes they get to points where they don't even get to see the sun.
But I think as of last weekend, or these previous weekend, they kind of had sun a bit. I saw someone posting that there was a bit of hope of spring, because at least there were streams flowing and there were 2 ducks in the stream. It looked pretty. Yeah.
Wow, because I'm thinking for me, the way I'm used to here as a Kenyan, the sun would probably be there for around 10 to 12 hours. And how do I know it's getting, it's evening when all of a sudden it started it's becoming dark. So without the sun, I don't know, I'll have things like depression. It would make me think so much and wonder how is life, because I'm meant to understand there's some instances where they have the sun for only 2-3 hours. For me, I'll get confused.
I'm not so sure about that. I just know my mind will run too fast. And I'll definitely need to be very cautious with what I put on because of the, what is it known as? Need for warmth. Anyway, Sammy, so we are continuing with our conversation on love. Like we are wrapping these up. You know, the other times you've been questioning, so what is love? And we gave answers and build up and concluded to, you know, God is love and love is God. And it's a commandment, and there are so many beautiful things about it. But today we are going to talk on, like we're wrapping it up, just like love is, what love is for us. And I think I'd want Sammy maybe to share just on your younger ages, teenage, age 13, age 14, Apple, class 8, what was love for you like? Class
Well.
8, Form 1, Form 4, before you got an ID?
Well, before I answer that, I think it would be nice. I see already a few comments. I think people today are really behaving. I asked if in their areas it's raining. So Bernard says it's... Bernard, see your face. May the Lord... At yes, it's still snowing. You know, Bernard is just like 100 meters away from me as we speak. And he says it's snowing, but it's okay.
It's okay, Sam. If it's snowing in Bernard's dream, it's fine.
Oh, then you need to wake up, bro, man. Stop dreaming. I see Thomas says, man, I tell you, it's crazy snowing here. Wow. Thomas is actually less than...
Director, producer. No, just say it right.
Yeah, he's the director, producer of all this show. And it's quite funny to see that in his area it's snowing. Maybe he does not understand anything. That's what he means by snowing.
He probably didn't get the area part.
Oh, Thomas, we actually mean where you are now. Is it snowing? Then I see Elena says, it's getting warmer here, but today was no sun at my place. Actually, Elena is from Germany as well. So it's good to know that it's getting warmer there. Now, now that we are still talking about what love is, and you asked a question, what love is, or rather what love was, what love meant to me at the age of 13, 14, high school, class 8, class 7. Actually, I think I've shared this before, probably. You know, first, the only love that I knew was my mother. The only love that I knew was my mom, and nothing else. And the love that I knew is the fact that my mom only, you know, I have lived, sorry, excuse me. I have lived with a single mom all my life, and I mean, she has protected me with everything. She provided everything. So when I was younger, while growing up, the only thing that I knew love was my mom. But now, I don't want to get serious and get so boring tonight. Maybe I could share a story. You see, for me, love meant one, I used to fear girls. Like fear. Like having you see, like the way we are sitting, you and I now, having a conversation, having let's talk. This is actually a breakthrough to me, because I could not approach like girls, like, hi, so my name is Samuel Wate, and you know what, I actually like you. No, I couldn't do that when I was younger. I mean, like a few years before. But what love meant to me is the fact that someone would care for me, someone would do something nice for me, like buy something small. Because for me, always in my life, it's always the little things that matter to me. When you think about me, when you get like, okay, I'm not a lover of chocolate, but maybe when you buy me shoes or something, for me, that was love.
Tiny things like shoes.
Tiny things like shoes, like Nike shocks, tiny things like Nike shocks. I mean, not so much. I don't demand so much.
Do I want to be tiny?
I don't know about you.
If I look in the perspective of family, definitely it meant, yeah, just being provided for, being given, playing card games as a family. And yes, when I was beaten, it meant I was not loved.
Speaking of beaten, actually, you know, for me, trust me, I don't know if it's wise saying this on air.
You've never been beaten by your mother?
Never been beaten? What do you mean? For me, anything around was a weapon. Hey, if it's a belt, if it's slippers, if it's a shoe, if it's a cooking stick, man, hey, And at some point I felt like, man, do you really love me? Are you actually my mother? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, at least those times I never felt loved.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom used to do something. She used to pinch you, and then she tells you, Mimi, like I am not pinching you. I'm just pinching the sin that you did or the crime that you did, and I'm doing this because I love you. You know, and
I never got to understand that, man.
it never adds up, right?
Sure.
But yeah, here we are. Maybe it's why we are. We are. But anyway, afterwards, Sammy, yeah, I got to a level where what love was, love started being evening walks. Evening walks to go buy smoky pasua or my boiled pasua. And these was when I had grown a bit. I had started knowing how cute boys look like. Despite having my very handsome brothers, I started now noticing, hey, that's my brother, and this other guy, he's not my brother, And so evening walks meant something for me, because that day was consistent, and we were so young by then.
Consistent.
He was consistent every evening. Every evening. So for me, at some point, love meant evening walks and consistency of it, and smoky pasua. And then in primary, definitely love meant those tiny notes. Like, hey, if you got a note slipped on your desk, ooh, hey. That was love, man.
Speaking of those tiny notes, I remember. Hey, hi, mom. Like, I think I was in class 7, if I'm not wrong, either 7 or 8. So I had a friend. We never used to talk that much. Actually, let me say we were distant friends. The only way I knew her was the fact that her mom used to like prepare the best. How do I call them now? Viazis. I mean, viazi karai. How do I call them?
Besan potatoes. Karai.
At besan potatoes. Well, what Nairobians what Nairobians call bajia, but actually it's not. Bajia is totally a different thing. But what Nairobians call bajia, I mean, there was this lady who used to make them, and it was awesome and tasty for me. So my friends and I would always go there. And that's how I met that kachile, or that girl or that lady. And this girl actually, she liked me. And what she did, she wrote a letter. You see those words, you are the only bean in my githeri. You are the only coin in my wallet. You are the only, I mean, when I see you, my heart goes coo, coo, coo. I mean, you make my blood boil and all those stuffs. So she writes that letter, then she sends it. In our days, you can't, how can I put it? Okay, you can't send a text message or anything. So he sends a friend who we were schooling in the same school. So the friend texts he texts the letter to me. Then I get the letter. Then I decide, because this is a special letter, I will not read it at school. It's actually very risky to read it at school. If the letter is found, I mean, that letter is going to be read in front of everyone at the assembly, at the parade. So now I take the letter, I take it home, then I decide I will read it at home. So unfortunately or fortunately, when I get home, I find that we have a visitor. So a visitor is there, so I'm like, you see now, in my home, when there are visitors, you must stay with the visitors there. I mean, you keep them company. When we eat together. We have a meal together. Now, while I'm eating, I'm wondering and I'm asking myself, when will this visitor leave? Then finally, the visitor leaves, and my mom and what is kusindikiza in English?
Sees off.
Yeah, he sees off. Thank you. She sees off the visitor. Then while she's seeing off the visitor, I decide now this is time to read the letter. So I read it. Then of course I see all those words. I see how the lady is expressing her love towards me. Then I decide to, I don't know, I got a short call or something. Then I went to the loo and I left the letter on the table. Then when I'm coming back from the loo, I find that my mom is back and she's actually seated and reading the letter. Well, my blood was boiling actually. My heart was actually going cuckoo. But what was really weird, and I have never understood up to today, my mother never did anything. Like, she never hit me or anything. I was not punished or disciplined.
Even you didn't have a conversation about the letter?
I told you it's weird about our parents, man, talking about love. So we didn't even have a conversation. She was like, where is this letter from? Then I was like, from so-and-so. Oh, okay, it's our sawa. Okay, thank you. Then a few days later, I see my mom going to
Mama so-and-so.
Mama and so-and-so. Exactly. Then up to today, I don't know what they talked about with the Mama so-and-so. But then again, I mean, it was a good experience. And for us back in the days, love meant, I mean, expressing ourselves, my love through a letter or something. Yeah.
And also something else that when those days meant someone loved you was, or rather someone loved me, was akilipa fare ya kwenda jam session. It's the saddest thing, by the way. It's one of the... I don't want to erase it because I learned a lot out of it. But if you're doing that, by the way, let me just tell you the truth. It won't go far. But it meant something. Either when you're going out for a hangout or just going somewhere and then someone decides they're paying your fare. And on those days, we used to pay 5 shillings to town. 5 bob. Nganya ya buruburu ama ya umoja. Hey. And then someone pays for you 5 bob. Hey, me that guy.
It meant so much.
Hey.
So that's where Nitumie fare came from.
No, our times you were not sent for. They used to pay.
But actually, that's where it came from, because you got used to the fact that we have to pay fare. Because nowadays,
the beauty is we never used to eat it.
No, nowadays I call you, I text you, hi babe, see you come, I see you, to my fare.
See, now that's different.
Because you got used to it.
No, me, I'm not to me fare, baby.
Sorry.
I'm not to me fare. I never ask for fare.
You Uber yourself to that place.
If I have to, and if it's worthwhile.
Okay.
I need to me a fare.
So you want to mean for you?
So if I want to see you, I'll find means of coming to see you.
But
fare won't be an excuse.
But actually, that brings me to this question. You see, currently, the current world, I mean, if I like you, if you're a lady and I like you, for me to see you, lazima nikutupia fare. I have to send fare for you.
Which is a sad state.
And unfortunately, that's how we've made it look like currently. If I don't send fare to you, then...
Actually, Sammy, coming to thinking about it, I think Kukula Fair has always been, or rather Tuma Fair has always been an excuse for I am not able to come because I don't have money. And most times they believe it's not because they don't have money, it's because they don't want to come and they can't say, I'm not interested, I'm not coming. So...
Actually, some people, they argue that, man, I want to see your effort.
There's also a part of I want to see your effort.
Because I'm seated there, I'm a girl seated there, I'm like, I have my own money, but I want to see your effort as a man. Because you are the man here, so you send the fare, I get to that point. That's why, because I could ask this question as well. We're on a date, boyfriend and girlfriend. And supposedly, it's supposed to be when you're out on a date in a restaurant, chilling, maybe taking coffee or whatever we are taking, it's a meal, then normally I'm supposed to pay. To show my effort as a man, to show my love as a man.
See, how many effort. So if that's why you want to put your effort on,
but still, I don't know, because I've been studying, studying in the Bible, trying to answer this question. Who is supposed to pay? When we go out on a date, who's supposed to pay?
Sammy. Not unless it's in your Bible. All I know is when it comes to family, I believe the man is meant to be a priest, is meant to be a provider, is meant to be a protector. And a woman is meant to be a helper. So, I mean, for me, that's all I know. When it comes to the whole dating part, Isaac dated. It tell me the times that Eve and Adam dated.
You know, man, things.
Abraham and Sarah, them dating, and
you know, things have changed. Unfortunately, unfortunately, when Abraham lived, there was no Kempinski, there was no Kibandaski.
They had shades.
Huh?
They had shades and caves and. Actually, that time was way better. They just go and decide, hey babe, let's hunt a rabbit there.
Exactly, you see the point.
And that would be easier. So who's hunting? It's the man.
I'm hunting you or the rabbit?
Both.
Should I hunt you or the rabbit?
Both.
Really? Because I'm trying to think and look at it. Sometimes, man, as much as yes, I'm the provider, I agree. But do I always have to show my effort? Always have to show my effort.
It actually depends, Sammy. We both know that my view is definitely different.
I know.
We both know that I am for cost sharing, or let's weigh. I am also a believer of there's so many ways someone can, like, you don't have to prove a point for you to be liked. You don't have to prove a point for you to be loved. And I believe even thinking through the whole conversation of love, like, you don't have to prove a point. Sammy.
True, because
it's just supposed to be fair. Like, yes, there has to be the whole point of sacrifices and giving. Like, it takes a lot, but it does not necessarily need to be monitorial or something. Like, I have to my fair for you to come. But for me, it will make actually more sense if I knew your working schedules are crazy and tight. Like, I know you're working from 8 to 7 p.m. in the evening, but at 7 p.m. when you're leaving work, you're like, could we make time at 7 to 7:30 before you leave town? Curfew is 10, but if we link at 7, we can hang out for chai for up to 7:30 and then we get our jobs. For me, that means way better than you having to send fare for me to come. But anyway.
But I mean, the sad part is the world out there has made it sound like I have to show effort, and at some point it looks like it's one-sided, man. Because I'm the only person who has speaking on behalf of the boy child. I'm the only person who has to show like I want you. I'm the only person who has to show like.
Sammy, let's be honest. Let's be honest. Actually, the price the ladies pay is way worse than what you guys give.
Why?
Why will you be saying? Why will you be sending fare?
So that I see you.
And then,
I see you. We hang out, man. You know. You should know.
Sammy, truth is, any man who sends fare, even when you check on what on social media,
there's nothing for free.
There's nothing for free, and it's even sad when I'm thinking I'm selling out my dignity and my body with just fair money.
But think about it this way. I mean, everything that we'll do, as much as I send fare, it's for both of us, man.
No, Sammy.
Even if it's pleasure.
The intention. No, it's not a matter of pleasure, but it's a matter of intention and it's a matter of manipulation. You're sending fare, and the reason as to why you'll be so angry they ate your fare, it's because you didn't eat them. So,
and you know,
because you're sending fare, you want a meal.
Actually.
Or a snack, or whatever you call them. Aki.
And actually, do you know why it turns out to be that way? Because, I mean, how you make it sound is like we have to pay first, you know? Because if, I'm looking at it this way. If we love each other, I'm not even supposed to struggle to tell you to come. If you're in a position to come to see me, you should actually run. Because, I mean, we love each other, we want to spend time together. So, I should not even want, before I even call, you should be there. But the fact that we feel like we have to pay for this thing, then let me use it to, let me utilize this moment properly.
I honestly, genuinely believe there's no one who said you have to pay for, but it's what society has brought out.
Exactly.
And the truth is, it is sin that has blinded us to such moments, to such places, to such spots and places. And it is not good and it is not okay. And it's not something that we are embracing. It's something that we pray that God can just help us, can just save us from our evil ways of adultery. And thinking about it, because from the conversation you've had, it's felt more of, you know, a relationship. Eros, you know, that one for do not be awakened until it's due time. But think about even friendships, Sammy. It's still all the same. Like, there's also some effort that we both need to do, or we also need to put. And this will bring me to questioning, Sammy, from just what you've stated of what love meant when you were smaller and younger, and how tiny little things. Hey, I even forgot to say a flower. Hey. And those days used to do those ones for loves me not, loves me. Anyway, we've done things. But Sammy, so when's the last time you felt loved?
Felt loved? Wow. From a human being or generally felt loved? Well,
definitely not for God, because God loves us every single time.
Just a few moments ago.
Someone said they love you.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily someone said I loved you, but just before the show started, someone wished me well for Let's Talk. And for me, that's love, man.
Oh, you felt love?
Yeah, I felt love. I felt like, ooh, this person cares. This person is concerned. This person is wishing the best for me. So I felt love at that moment.
Me thinking it's in my journal.
24 hours later. But you know, with love, it's the little things. Vitu ndogo ndogo. I don't necessarily have to tell you that I love you. You see, like what we were talking about last Monday, about our parents, how they show us that they love us. I mean, I would be shocked to hear my mom tell me, like, man, I love you, my son. Like, what? What has gotten into you? But she does. She shows me each and every time. Every time. I mean, in so many different ways. She has sacrificed a lot for me, even without speaking. You know? Because even when Jesus was dying, he was not dying like, man, I love human race. I love human race. The action itself spoke volumes. The action itself, it spoke wide. So it's the little things.
Yeah, and so for today we're just going to delve in what exactly does God tell us love is. And we are going to just take a small journey through the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 13.
Yeah.
We're just going to read the whole chapter. I believe it's important to have the whole of it gone through. And Paul, being he's one of my favorite writers. He did a pretty good job in simplifying what love is. And he says that if I could speak all the languages of the earth and of angels but didn't love others, I would only be a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. If I had the gift of prophecy and if I understood all of God's secret plans and possessed all knowledge, and if I had such faith that I could move mountains but didn't love others, I would be nothing. If I gave everything I have to the poor and even sacrificed my body, I could boast about it, but if I didn't love others, I would have gained nothing. I'm just thinking through it, Sammy. What are some of the things that you can place on it from what you felt that this is what love is? And you'd realize that by the way, this is nothing. So for me, I'd say, you know, even if I paid, or rather I didn't eat fare and went, and there was no love, it meant nothing.
Sure.
You know, if for example they sent that message, but for them there's no love, it's just sending for the sake of sending. It means nothing.
Sure.
If I bought you shoes, your tiny things like shoes, and there's no love, it basically means nothing.
Yeah, however much I treasure like shoes, but if you buy those shoes with ill intentions and there's no love, it actually means nothing. I'm trying to think even a few years when I was younger. I mean, spending time together, it's actually time and love are the one and the same thing. Because when we bond, when we grow into knowing each other, then the more we get to love each other. Now, there were times where, I'm not here to advertise you, but there were times where you the SIM card, the line, I think it's the one that changed to orange, I'm not sure. But you, they were giving offers, 15 shillings, and you talk for unlimited talking for 24 hours, man. And I remember those days. I mean, of course, spending time is key to show that we love each other. But we spend time doing, I mean, we talk about nothing, a lot of nothing, with no love. That actually...
it meant nothing.
Yeah, it actually meant nothing.
You wasted all that time, and you would have read a book and build your knowledge.
wait, watch it. I mean, I could talk until the phone is very hot, one.
So imagine all the nice, good things that you do out there. As long as you're doing it without love,
it means nothing.
Aki, it's nothing, and you're gaining nothing out of it. Because it says, but if I don't love others, I would have gained nothing. And then it further goes on. I think I'll read up to 7, and then Sammy can finalize. I can read through, and then we can chambua. So love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful, or proud or rude. It does not demand its own way. It is not irritable, and it keeps no records of being wronged. It does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out. Love never gives up, never loses faith, is always hopeful, and endures through every circumstances.
It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. But where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part and we prophesy in part. But when completeness comes, what is in part disappears. When I was a child, I talked like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put the ways of childhood behind me. For now, we see only a reflection as in a mirror. Then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part. Then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known. And now these three remain, faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of this is love.
The
Yes.
greatest of these is love.
Yes.
So love is patient.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you're patient. Do you even know what patient is?
Well, patient is girl I know.
From primary school.
From primary school. Patience. But I mean, even before we get to love being patient, there's something beautiful that I get to notice here, especially in the first verses 1, 2, 3. I mean, if I speak in the tongues of men or angels, that there are other, like what you've put across, there are other things that probably we thought they are really, I mean, they're really good. And while Paul was writing this letter to the Corinth church, you see, the Corinth church had problems. Just recently we studied the book of 1 Corinthians, and we noticed that there was division among them. And this division was caused by jealousy, among many other things. But jealousy was one of it. And there were a few groups there. There are people who felt like, I will follow Apollos, I will follow Paul, the different leaders among them. Now, there are people who felt like speaking, like it's even in the current places, like speaking in tongues is the in thing, you know? Like if you don't speak in tongues, you're not born again. There are even churches that believe that out there, which is actually wrong. And now Paul says, if I speak in the tongues of men or of angels, like even if I talk, I mean the language of heaven, sawa leave alone Kikuyu, Kiswahili, Kikamba, and Kiluya. But even if I talk the language of heaven, it sounds like, my version says, it's NIV, resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. Now, a clanging cymbal, when you see, unajua is the drums, the acoustic drums. Cymbals are the let me call them the mabatis. That exactly, hizo kifuniko ya sufuria. Now you know how that sounds. I'm sure hata nimeharibu masikio watu. As in, that sounds so noisy, if there's no love.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're speaking in tongues, if you're preaching, even if, like now, what we are doing, if you are talking with passion and everything, but there is no love, it's
empty.
I mean, it's a noise. It's total noise. And then, now Paul continues and tries to explain now what love is. And for me, what I actually get to understand in this scenario is that love is specific. Love is really, really specific. I mean, it's not like there are other definitions of love. Love is what we see in 1 Corinthians chapter 13. Yes. And now we get to love is patient. Now I'm thinking now, hey, sometimes I'm patient. Sometimes I'm not. But it's really tough. It's really tough. Because I'm trying to think in all different angles, different aspects. Sometimes I pray, for example, I pray for something. And then it does not come. Then I get impatient. And when I get impatient, I try to look for shortcuts. And all the times when I look for shortcuts, ndio shida naanzia hapo. Now, even getting patient with a friend. Hey, sometimes mse it's tough. But you can have stubborn friends. I, being one of them, I know I can be very stubborn. And sometimes it's really hard. You can't even get patient with me. So, love is patient. It's tough. I don't know. I don't know what for you. If you Apple umepata 100, I'm not sure if I have 100 there.
I don't know. But when I'm thinking about love being patient, there are times I'm patient, definitely. I mean, there are times I'm really, really patient. And there are times my patience runs over and the cup is empty. But just thinking through the importance of patience, when I'm thinking about love and patience, I think about Jesus. Do you know how patient he is with us? And looking through the Bible and his stories and what he did every single day, he's walking there with all his 12 disciples. And he knows, there's a devil among us, but he's just patient. There's no go pointing or showing partiality of, I know you still sell me out. No. He was patient with them, even though he knew all that was happening around them. And the same patience is what he's pouring up down to us, that he looks at us every single day and he's like, man, I'm just going to give you another chance, another new day to experience my love. To know and recognize that I died for you. Like, for me, that's profound when I'm thinking about it.
And it's actually a really big challenge, because, I mean, so many a times we wrong God. We are always on the wrong, always, but he's still patient with us. And I'm thinking here, sometimes you have friends, you argue with friends, and a question would be, is it more important, for example, to be right when I'm arguing with a friend, or I should desire to seek to understand the person with love? Because sometimes it's hard. I mean, weighing out the two options, I feel like I'm right in this case. I feel like you should hear out my view. That's one. Or I should get patient with you. It's
when you're thinking about it, I think it's also in both angles. When the argument is there, then we both need to have thought about patience. We both need to find a ground of thinking through it. But yeah, it's a heavy call. Love is patient.
Okay.
And kind.
Love is kind.
So given the example that you just stated, in an argument, would you rather be right or would you rather be patient? And kind. Hey, kindness. Me think kindness, yeah, Jesus, interesting. But the tricky part, Sammy, is what do you do when it is frequently known that you're the patient, kind person, and people take it as though you're the
Weakness.
stopover. Yeah, like they take an advantage of it being a weakness. How do you handle that?
I continue to be kind, man. Out of love.
Easier said than done.
Love is patient, love is kind. I be patient with them.
Yeah, just thinking about kindness. Kindness in the sense that you have a heart of compassion. Like you're willing to help, you're willing to assist. You care for, you're rather seeking just the welfare of others. You're seeking the good of others. And I think that's a huge one.
Yeah, and you see that takes me to our previous definition of love last Monday, where we said love is a genuine desire for the well-being of one another, because that actually brings the aspect of kindness. I mean, genuine desire for you to be well. If I want you to be well, I must be kind with you so that you're well. I must be patient with you so that you're well. And that is love. Yeah.
And then it goes further and states that love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude.
You know, speaking about jealousy, if there's one thing that can really go unnoticed, it's jealousy.
I actually believe jealousy is the one thing that you can never hide.
You know why? Sometimes I might be in a position not to show jealousy. You see, like kindness, you have to see. If I'm kind, I mean, you have to see. But if I'm jealous, I can like hide it within my heart. I can get jealous within myself and die within myself. I mean, I like your shoes. I don't tell you. I look at them with the 99th eye. I'm like, that shoe, man. If I get it there, if I mean, and I tend to believe sometimes, I mean, jealousy is quite tricky even to handle it, to deal with it.
I believe jealousy is very possible to see. You know the way we're told, out of the abundance of the heart,
The mouth speaking.
the mouth speaks. And the way we are told still that the heart is, it holds a lot of deceit and all evil. Like, it holds all the evilness in this world. If someone is jealous about something, for example, Sammy, if I'm jealous about your shoes, it's very easy for you to know, not unless you don't realize it. It's very easy for you to know because you'll probably listen to the comments I give. You'll probably end up seeing how I look at you when you put them on. You will probably hear me saying words or just acting out differently and weirdly. The one thing that I have come to learn, or rather one of the experiences I've come to really, really know lately, is just realizing of how we communicate without understanding, without even realizing we are communicating. So when we're told love is not jealous, it basically means that it does not feel bad for the well-being of others. It aina kinyongororo ama kiwaru.
Kinyongor.
It does not feel bad.
You're happy for the other one.
Yeah. It does not feel bad when someone else is prospering. It does not feel bad when someone else is getting at a better place. And the sad part is that sometimes people are jealous even for the things that are not good. And it's crazy. You know, like people will be jealous because
you have 2 boyfriends.
Sadly enough, Sammy.
Why do you have 2 boyfriends? What is so special about you?
Yeah, because the others don't have, you know.
Unatumalizia.
Yeah. And then But how do you live in a world where all this is not there? Like there's no jealousy at all. I don't know, Salam. Or boastful.
Now, boastful now, I believe all of us, in one way or the other, I don't know, I tend to believe because of the I factor, because the human race is selfish at some point. And everyone loves to think about themselves first before they think about others. Everyone else, they like to consider themselves first. And it has been a very humbling moment, actually, getting to learn about love, because I get to see how how selfless love is. It has been a very humbling moment for me, because I'm thinking, man, if I actually love people, I should think about people before I even think about myself. And the way I would boast of how good I am, and the way I would boast of how nice shoes I have, of how I speak good Swahili or something, the way I would boast about my cooking, the way I would boast about my footballing skills, then I forget, or rather I go wrong, because it's all about me in this case. And that's not love. You know? Love is selfless, I'm saying. Yeah.
And I think one of the interesting things that Paul also says is that if I am boasting, may I boast because of Christ, and not because of anything else, not because of what I am or what I have or whatever I am capable of achieving, but because of Christ. And I think that's a huge one to think through. Or proud, hey, Tausi. Nani kama mimi.
Yeah.
And do you realize, Sammy, if you think about it, in the society today, you'd never think about these things as love.
Sure.
Hey, we all want to be proud. We all want to be, I am loved more than you.
Mi ndo ule msee.
Imagine how simple it is.
Yeah, mi ndo ule msee.
Hey,
there's nothing you can do about it.
Mende.
There's nothing mi ndio kusema. Bana hii mtaa
mi baba yao.
Mi ndio bazuu, mi ndio bazenga.
Hey.
And
wendo na jinau.
Wacha ni jinau mzee.
Si sorry, na si wenye atujinau.
Shauri yenu, kana mama yako.
Yeah, and imagine about it. Think about it, Sammy, of how we've embraced it without even realizing. Like we've embraced being proud without even realizing that we are doing it. And the way subconsciously, like we can't even in the outside world, we can't relate all these things with our definition of love. Like we wouldn't start thinking, so what is love not?
Actually, I've come to realize out there in the world, pride sells a lot, man.
Yeah, imagine sending your CV. What do you have to put there?
I mean,
personal profile.
Exactly. Pride sells out there. I mean, it's all about very high self-esteem. It's all about, man, I'm the guy. I can do this. I am good for this job. Because there's a famously known footballer who calls himself God, and it's basically because of pride. And this guy feels like, man, there's no other footballer who is better than I am. And it's really sad and strange, but
so no, love is not rude. Hey,
love is not rude.
Hey, when you're squeezy, Sammy, like when you're going out there and you just like, everyone is like, that's the rude boy. Like she's a rude girl. Like that's the big thing, yani.
But I think people should visit government offices.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I said this on air.
But at least I can appeal not all offices and not everyone. I have heard polite ones.
But it's really sad sometimes how they deal with you. Bana, you just ask a simple question and the answer you get, where? Wacha tu nisiseme. Let me not use other examples that are in my head now.
But imagine, Sammy, the person you love and you're rude to them. How does that even work?
That's not even polite. That's not even kind. I mean...
Hey, this reminds me. I was having a conversation with a couple of friends of mine. And one of the questions that came out was, how did you know that your wife was your wife? And he answered that actually at that particular time I was almost getting married to a different girl. And the only thing that changed the narrative was how she talked to me. I asked her a question in regards to a certain situation, and she answered rudely. And I thought to myself, hey, Chick B has never talked to me
like that.
So this is not the one. Chick B is the one. And that's how he knew. Imagine if you're down there and outside there. I can be polite.
Eri tu jifunze kunyamaza next time.
Imagine. But thinking about it, Sammy, rudeness, like huamrui yani, it does not show love. Definitely. And the interesting thing is, when we were younger, we would think of rudeness as the opposite of it being respectful. If you're respectful, you are not rude. If you're rude, you're not respectful. So that basically makes me to think that love is respectful.
Yeah, I think that's the respectful.
Love is respect.
Yeah, in the essence of being polite as well. Because you know, yeah. You know, when you're rude, it actually means that you're like pushing me away, and that's not love. I mean, love is more of inviting, kindness. Yeah. So when I want the well-being of you, I can't be rude to you, because when I'm rude to you, it affects you. You know, like when you ask me a question now, like, what's your name?
See, sorry.
Like, don't talk to me.
Many people say sorry, Basi.
That's actually rude. Ati sorry, sorry, Basi.
See when then? Like, see, you go then.
Do I even care, man?
Man. and it goes down again and states that it does not demand its own way. It is not irritable, and it keeps no record of being wronged. Now, I think love is hard.
Hey, keeping record, say apple.
You're just saying keeping record. Me, I'm saying it's not irritable and it does not take its own way.
You know why I'm saying keeping record? I think I can remember maybe what someone did to me, like probably even 4 years ago. And I still can remember. I would
every
detail I can explain. Actually, today, maybe to share this out, I was having a conversation with someone who we had talked, I think, the last time in 2019. And we had a very long conversation. And this someone was like, she had a different perspective of me. And she felt like she was hurt by me at some point. So all those years, I never had the chance to explain what actually transpired. And I could see it in her face, how she was still explaining it in passion, like, man, you did this to me. Then I'm like, wait, see, ilikuwa 2019, tuko 2021. To her, it felt like it was yesterday, you know? And that's what happens with us. We keep it, we carry it. Tunaipepa yo mzigo, like, I mean, I will carry it till to my grave. And I believe with God, it's the opposite of that. When I ask for forgiveness now, he forgives and forgets. But I don't know. I can forgive. I'm not sure if I can forget.
And just thinking about all this, it does not demand its own way. It's not irritable, and it keeps no record of being wronged. And I'm thinking about Jesus. Thinking about this guy. who's come to a city. He's healed a leper, or he's healed a blind man. And then the Pharisees and the Sadducees are angry about him. And they want to kill him. And him is not like, he's not irritated. He's like, by the way, you do whatever you're doing, but say whatever you're saying. All I know is I am doing what my Father has told me to do. And if he sent me to tell you the truth, it's what I'm going to tell you. If he's allowed me to heal, it's what I'm going to do. If it is his will, it's what I'm going to do. And then he realizes, hey, they want to kill me. He disappears. And then comes back again to those very same people who wanted to kill him. Like him, it's like he didn't even carry any heaviness in it that you people want to kill me. And thinking about it, Sammy, just on the knowledge that he knew his purpose, it made him, I think it made it easier for him at some point. Like he knew, after all, I came to die, but this is not the time for me to die, and this is not how I'm supposed to die. But I came to die for these people. So it makes me wonder, Sammy, what's your purpose in life? Because when you figure out what your purpose is in life, it will help you be able to understand why it is important to love people, why it is important for you not to do all these things you're being told. And it will be an easier way for you to live. I'm just thinking.
Actually, if, the moment you asked that question, I remember the conversation we had last week as well. That our purpose in life, I mean, the ultimate goal of living is love. What we are talking about, because love that brings glory to God is the very purpose of life and the existence of the church. So the moment that I actually get to, actually I feel like that's the major problem with love, because we've not given it the priority it deserves. Because love should be the ultimate goal of every single human being that is here on earth. I mean, this is why there is church, because of love. You know, because love is worship to God. And worship is eternal. Love is eternal. Now, if I get to understand that my main purpose is love, then it will change everything. Yeah. Despite it being hard, I mean, because so far, if I would take the marking scheme, I'm trying to like tick what we've said so far. Patience, kindness, not keeping records of wrongdoings, love is not envy. Then I'm thinking, I mean, how many points would I have gotten there? It's a challenge. It's a challenge to all of us out there. How many points would I have gotten? Yeah.
And then it goes further and states, he does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out.
You see, that makes me think now, when tomorrow my enemy is somehow beaten by people out there for no good reason, I'll be celebrating, konga, weka ingine.
Love your enemy.
No, I'll be like, ongeza, huyu jamaa amenisumbua for a while, man.
Amebanga hapa sana.
Ametuibia hapa sana. And probably they're beating him or her for no good reason. And that would be my chance to rejoice and celebrate. But then again, the Bible says that is not love. Where?
But it rejoices whenever the truth wins out. Okay, truth. The Bible tells us that the truth shall set you free. And this truth, Sammy, this is something ukweli. It's one of the things that people don't embrace. It's one of the things that we don't relate it with love, Sammy. Me, if you tell me you love me, see, you will accommodate me with all my stupidity. You won't speak out when I'm doing something wrong. You'll just be like, Ivan ndo anakuanga. Like, that's how she is.
Oh, I understand you.
Yeah, I understand you, and I just carry you like that.
Man.
But imagine that is not love.
That's not love.
Because the Bible tells us that, you know, it does not, I mean, it rejoices whenever the truth wins out. Like when we pinpoint, this is the reality of things. This is the truth of it. Love is rejoicing. It's happy. Love never gives up, never loses faith, is always hopeful. and endures through every circumstances.
Actually, I've been thinking, what's important? Friendship or truth?
You think truth?
Truth is important. I mean, truth is key.
Because you can't have friendship if there's no truth.
Exactly. And for some of us, we get it all wrong out there. We think like, I'm afraid to tell you the truth because I'm like, I will lose this friendship that we have. I will lose what we have. Not knowing that by me keeping quiet and not telling you the truth, me being afraid of losing what we have, it's actually wrong and it's actually not love. Because the Bible talks of as iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens a man, or a friend sharpens a friend. Now, and the Bible tells us that we should rebuke each other with love. You know, so I should correct you with love. I should tell you the truth. I should not rejoice. You know, because I want the best for you in the end. If you're heading to the wrong place, and I'm here, I'm so quiet, I'm not saying it. Why? I'm afraid of losing this friendship. That's not love. Speak out, man.
Yeah, so love wins out, or rather, it rejoices when truth is winned out. Love never gives up. Love never loses faith. It's always hopeful and endures through every circumstances. Endurance. It just goes back to the whole concept of truth as well. Never giving up. Like, I'm not giving up on this friendship. I'm not losing faith or hope on this situation, or you know, love is always hopeful. Like, I'm hopeful this is just a season that will be over. And like thinking about it, Sammy, love is hard. It's not simple. It's not like drinking a cup of tea. It's like drinking a cup of hot porridge that it's not getting cold. You know, kwanza wakati ya jua, kuna jua alafu mpewa uji moto.
Hivyo ndo tunafanyanga Bible Club. Anyway.
Yani inapoanga, you need to get cold. Imagine in served porridge in a flask. Like, that cup is maintaining that heat. You won't even be able to drink it.
Sure.
No matter how good the porridge is. Anyway, that's off. It's nothing close to what love is. But man, love is hard. Love is hard. That love is dying on the cross for the sake of someone else. Sacrificing your goodness, your pride, your everything for someone else.
Actually, when it says now, love never fails. Never. You see, the key word there is never. It never fails. Never, ever. So many times I fail. For me, what I get is love is eternal. Love is forever unending. And there's only one person who is forever unending. And that's God. And that's where we go back to the part where God is love. Because I've been thinking all through, looking at 1 Corinthians 13. Love is patient, love is kind. Now, where there's the word love, I put Jesus. Now, Jesus is patient, Jesus is kind. Jesus never fails. Jesus does not keep records of wrongdoings. All those that talk about love, that is Jesus himself. And that is why, like you put it, it's hard. That is why it's almost imperfect, or it's almost impossible for us to get there. And basically, that is salvation. Because with salvation, we try as much as possible to get there. That's why we need Jesus. That's why Jesus himself demonstrated love by dying on the cross. That's why we need Jesus for us to go to the Father. That's why we need Jesus for salvation. Same applies to love. Jesus is not only the standard and example of love, but is also the source of love. We can't, man, however much we try to be patient, kind, and forgiving and not keeping records.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, because I'm a man, I will keep records, man.
Mm-hmm.
Today you will wrong me, I will say I will forgive you, but I will still remember it.
Mm-hmm.
So in the end, in the long run, if you want to love,
Mm-hmm.
you get it from Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, so love is all these things, like what we've read through 1 Corinthians chapter 13. And the interesting bit of it is that we can't say that love is just truthful, full stop, and not kind and patient. But it's in its wholeness, like it's like an apple fruit, where it cannot be an apple if it does not have the outer cover, if it does not have the flesh and the core and the seeds inside.
Mm-hmm.
It cannot be an apple if we cut it into pieces, and then when we're returning the pieces into whole, we put like two cloves of an orange or a lemon, and then we say this is an apple. It can't be that way. Like love, it's that one whole. The way you bite an apple, because it has wherever calcium or vitamins or sugar and juice and everything in an apple. It's the same way when you're taking love. Like, when you say it, I love you, it has to entail all these things.
Patience, kindness.
Like that one bite of love has patience, kindness, goodness, endurance, no jealousy or envy, no boastfulness, no pride. It has truth in it, and it never gives up. It never loses faith. It never gives up hope. That basically is love. And truth is, we cannot do this by ourselves. The way you stated that we can only find love from the source of it, who is it and who is Christ, then the best way we can find this love and we can live this life, it's by getting to know him, by getting to experience him. And the interesting thing is that in verse 13 it winds up by stating that 3 things will last forever, like 3 things that are eternal: faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these is love. And have in mind, the love has hope, love has faith, love has patience, and it has so many aspects of the fruit of the Holy Spirit: kindness, goodness, patience, faithfulness, gentleness, love, joy, peace. Like, man, I believe it's very paramount that we need to seek after this love from God, that even it will help us be able to live it out, as he tells us that, this is my commandment, that you love one another, that your joy may be full. When he tells us love one another, this is the greatest of all laws, that love the Lord your God with all your heart, your mind, and your soul, and love your neighbor as you love yourself. And it further says, love your enemies and pray for them and feed them. So think about it. That person whom does not deserve you, does not deserve your patience, does not deserve your kindness, does not deserve your hope or faith or your endurance, and whatever it is. Imagine you also don't deserve the same. Think about who you are and what you've been doing to Christ or to God or to the people around you. Truth is, you do not deserve the same.
Yeah.
But it's what you've been given.
Yeah.
And the measure you've been given, give it out as well.
The beauty of it all is actually we as believers, we've been given the capacity to enjoy love, to live in love, and to give love. But before you even get there, you must get the love from the source. So I believe our call is for you even to feel loved. I mean, you get it from the source, which is Jesus Christ himself. I know there are times where there are points where you feel unloved. And there are many reasons that could cause that. It could be hurt, it could be betrayal. I mean, different experiences that we've had. But then again, we want to encourage you this evening that in Jesus Christ there is love, because he is love himself. He teaches us his love. He's the standard example and the source of love. Yeah.
So even as we wind up, we're just going to read again. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. It does not demand its own way. It is not irritable and it keeps no record of being wronged. It does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out. Love never gives up, never loses faith. It's always hopeful and endures through every circumstances. 3 things will last forever: faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these
is love.
Is love. So have a blessed week. Thank you. May the good Lord teach you how to love and how to persevere and how to do all these things for his glory. So may the Lord bless you.
And
may he keep you. May his face shine upon you to 1,000 generations. Be blessed.
Good night. We love you.
Haha.